to overtime. Dwayne Wade right at the body of Anderson Varejao. Welcome to your Kodak moment, Anderson Varejao.
Doncic pulls up, three-pointer. Bang! Bang! It's good! Doncic wins the game at the buzzer!
On that note, the NFC East is awful. It's so bad. They're 5-18-1 through 5 weeks, mostly because, they've had to play each other. The Washington football team has its one win from beating the Eagles. The Giants have their one win from beating the football team. And the Eagles and the Giants play this week. It's not a good division. Nothing about it is good. There's not much to say there. There's really not. That division, we knew coming into this year that it was the worst in sports. And since then, no one's been able to touch it. We are awful. The football team, doesn't have a starting quarterback. Dwayne Haskins, the decision to bench him was likely Ron Rivera just being like, look, I don't want to teach this guy my offense again. I don't want to deal with all of that. Of course, the football team should have 2 wins at this point, mostly because they went for 2 in the waning moments of this week's game against the Giants to win the game instead of, allowing an offense led by Daniel Jones that hadn't scored in the second half to try and win the game. But I digress. I mean, I'm happy with our first win. I like not being winless. I really like not being winless. And, some optimistic Giants fans would say that we could still win the division. But do we really want to? And I don't say that as someone who's like, yeah, roll out the tanks. But, I really don't want to watch my team make the playoffs at 6-9-1 and then, get blown out by 30 in a playoff game. We finished whatever it was, 13-3 in 2016, and I got to watch us get destroyed then. I'd just rather not. The Cowboys look like they can't do anything. The Eagles are probably going to end up making the playoffs just because no one else can. Ron Rivera is trying to coach for wins, but he just doesn't have a quarterback to make it work. That defense is damn good. They have some issues, at cornerback. And Landon Collins has been awful ever since he landed there. But that defensive line, look, Deron Payne, Ryan Kerrigan, of course, Chase Young. They're so good. They're so good. Cole Holcomb is one of the more underrated linebackers in the league. It's a really well-constructed defense. And I am mad every day that Daniel Jones won us a game against, name redacted last year that ended up with us getting the 4th pick to taking Andrew Thomas. Let's talk about Andrew Thomas. Andrew Thomas got benched for the first half of this game on Sunday. And the UConn rookie, 3rd rounder, Matt Pert, started in his place. Matt Pert looked real good. Andrew Thomas did not. Andrew Thomas missed open blocks on Montez Sweat over and over again. Not even against Chase Young. Against Montez Sweat. You know how discouraging that is? I thought Mekhi Becton was going to be the best tackle in this class. If not, it was going to be Jedrick Wills for me. I really loved Mekhi Becton. I did not like Andrew Thomas. I saw a high floor, low ceiling. And it's not even looking like he has a high floor. Mekhi Becton has a massive ceiling and has looked great so far, even playing through a shoulder injury for the Jets. Which, why would you risk your career for the Jets? But I digress. So why is Andrew Thomas so awful? He's just abandoning his technique. He's having real issues, with his skill set translating to the NFL. And because of that, he's not playing it safe in a way that's super negative. He's throwing out punches into edge rushers' chests at the start of a play and just missing. And then what do you have to do if you miss your punch? You gotta, slide back and you gotta try to punch again and get contact in the pads. If you don't, you get stuck. And Andrew Thomas is regularly getting stuck. We heard that he was supposed to be a great hybrid, pass blocker, run blocker. The Giants' run game is not going through Andrew Thomas. If anything, Andrew Thomas, made the Giants fail to convert a third down into a touchdown on Sunday. He's just not particularly good so far. But even then, it's part of why I would not be into taking Penei Sewell out of Oregon, who is one of the best offensive tackle prospects of like the past however many years. He's great. I'm not saying otherwise. What I am saying is you can't take a tackle at fourth 1 year and then, devote your draft heavily to the offensive line with Shane Lemieux, the guard in the fourth round, Matt Pert at the 99th overall pick. You can't devote that much into the offensive line, even with, the Cam Fleming signing, and you still have Nate Solder, even though he opted out. You can't devote that much into the offensive line only to the next year be like, oh, I screwed up, time to take another tackle. And I'd be fine with that. I think Gregory Rousseau would be more valuable to the Giants. I think Micah Parsons would be more valuable to the Giants. I mean, I really want Justin Fields on the Giants. He's my, he may not be the best prospect coming into this year. That is clearly Trevor Lawrence, but he may be the most fun. And I am so up for the Giants having a fun player on the roster. Although I think Trevor Lawrence would fit much better, especially as someone, Darius Slayton is a great tight window, pass catcher. It really comes down to if someone can get him the ball there. And Daniel Jones, does it sometimes, doesn't do it other times. Trevor Lawrence, one of his biggest strengths is throwing into tight windows, so that'll be exciting. But yeah, I think the Giants should go. I don't believe in Daniel Jones anymore. I really don't. And that's a scary thing to say. It's just, never has there been another player where I've gone into a game just hoping that they don't lose it for us. And that's how it is right now. Eli Manning, I knew that maybe he could lose us a game, but I would always trust that he could win us a game. Daniel Jones, I can always trust that he can lose us a game. I can't always trust that he can win us a game. For us to beat Washington, we needed a defensive touchdown from, the last pick in the draft, from Tay Crowder. And even then, at that point, we needed whatever it was, an interception and a half with all the pass deflections. We needed Terry McLaurin to have an awful game. We needed Kyle Allen to fumble. We needed Kyle Allen to not know what was going on. It was bad. Genuinely, it was bad. It wasn't a good win, and I'm happy with having the win. But I can't trust Daniel Jones anymore. And it makes me really sad to say that, but I can't do it. It's close to what happened to me and Andrew Wiggins, where I just couldn't trust him anymore. I couldn't keep devoting myself to saying, you know what, Andrew Wiggins is going to play well, and he's going to be consistent, because Daniel Jones, if anything, is inconsistent. One day he'll be making crazy reads, finding an open man on the sideline while running out, doing this weird cross-shoulder throw to the sideline for a toe tap. Some days he'll be doing that. Other days he'll stare down a receiver and throw it right to him. And I am sick of that. I am so extraordinarily sick of that. And that's a huge thing for me. I could talk more Giants, but I think I could talk a lot about a lot of other things. John Ross and AJ Green requested trades. The Steelers are still undefeated and incredible. Matchup against the Titans. Can the 49ers turn it around? Tua got his first start. There's a lot of stuff I can talk about because we had a great week.